on that note, the heavyweight division wasn't as packed, in England. So when he came up in the amateurs, he didn't have to fight so many times as he was part of America. And also when he won the Olympics in London, in his hometown, they had the Olympics in London. He lost 2 of those 3 fights that he fought in the Olympics where they actually give it to him. And there was a big, it's kind of an uproar about it. But of course, he fought in London, and people had to take that and keep it moving. But a lot of gifts were given to Joshua. And like I said before, timing is the greatest thing people can have. And he had good timing where he had a promoter that's been in the game. His promoter was the one that had a silver spoon from his father. So his father already had an upstart in the promotional game in England. And they had the right fighter, had the right look. And they fed him the right amount of ponies, to build his record. So compared to me on the other side, who didn't really had no real amateur boxing experience. I had 10 amateur fights. I was 9-1. But I was a martial artist, and I've always kept my roots close to kickboxing and the martial arts aspect, and got myself into the Golden Gloves. And when I finally got to the finals, I was kicked out of the Golden Gloves because earlier within that year, I had professional kickboxing fights. So I've heard different stories. It's not 2 different sports. Some people try to say it's professional no matter what. So I wasn't able to continue my amateur record. I had to turn pro at 19 because I was forced to. So and transitioning back and forth to Jewish sports, trying to put food on the table and make things happen and just keeping the dream alive, and learning about the sport, learning about the business, the promotion, why you need a manager, why a manager or some manager needed, why you need a promoter, what are the promoters' job, exactly what they're supposed to be doing, why does the promoter have to be the middleman between you and the networks, and they're studying all these things and figuring out who's who and what the networks entail and what they want to see and what's their budget for the sport. So it was a lot of homework that needed to be done, and I kind of just put myself in a position where, I had to create excitement where there was no excitement, which is disturbing the market. And you learn those in a couple, business classes or books you got to read. But I just came out and really started just putting myself out there because something had to give. I couldn't put my trust in anybody because we all know promoters and managers are just full of bullshit as usual. And it's no different anywhere else. If you don't fit the criteria that one kind of company or people want, that doesn't mean you got to give up on your dreams because you don't fit the label. You got to continue to figure out a way to make it happen, and that's all I did. I figured an avenue and something that works for me, and just took it to the next level. And like I said before, a lot of people don't understand. AJ didn't want this fight. AJ was not excited about this fight. He didn't want to pay for this fight. But the zone, the network was really intrigued to make an exciting American fight. And they came up with an amazing idea of how to get the funds together. And AJ had no choice. If he said no, he was like a punk. And if he said yes, he was doomed. So that's all it came out to. When you find somebody who's really, really mentally strong and knows what they want, you'll find a way to make it happen. And that's the main thing. You got to find and exercise every opportunity to make your goals happen, your dreams happen, and that's one of those situations.
There you go. In terms of, every face-off I see in terms of leading up to the fight, many of the fighters tell me that they kind of smell the other opponent's energy based on a face-off. When you faced off with Anthony Joshua, what did you see when you looked at him in his eye? Did you see fear in his eye? Did you see any in other words, did he say to you, "Oh, okay, you're coming to win"? Like, you know what? I got to take this fight serious. What did you see in that face off with him in New York?
Most definitely, I definitely see some fear in his eyes. Definitely seen that. Definitely smelled it on him. He had to figure out a way to hype himself up to show me that that he's not scared and he's not going to run, and that's what he was trying to do in the London press conference. But I already said what I had to do. I already said what I had to say, do what I had to do. So for me, I didn't really want to do London press conference. I didn't want to see him again. Like, I had nothing to say to him. You know what I mean? And but it was obligated to be there. You know what I mean? And said what I had to say my words, and kept it moving. You know what I mean? My energy level was saved and preserved, ready for training camp. So he's very safe. He's like a big kid. Like if you do one thing better than the other kid, they're gonna try to outdo you, just outshine in front of the teacher. And that's the kind of mentality he has. And I think finally he's taking it serious from what I've been hearing. But I'm glad he is, because once I break his neck, I don't want any excuses.
There you go. 2019 overall, particularly for New York, Brooklyn, for yourself, right? It could be like a big moment year for us in terms of you taking over the heavyweight division after June 1st. You beating Joshua, Daniel Jacobs beating Canelo at middleweight, and then we have Marcus Brown on his verge of taking over the light heavyweight division. Have you guys ever, like, I know you and Jacobs are cool and everything. So have you ever visualized that moment and when you guys first started to now where potentially you guys could potentially dominate your respective divisions?
Yeah, I mean, I've always known I was going to dominate my division. I can't speak in the other guys, but I know they're tough. I know they're tough dudes, and they grew up in the streets of Brooklyn and New York. So I know that main fact that they wouldn't stay this long and do this sport for this long if they didn't want to see themselves be the best. So no, it's always finding out a way to to persevere and knowing that you want to be the best, and there's only one way to get there, and that's going through people.
When you talk about being the best, right? A lot of commentators, particularly Max Kellerman, he mentioned about that this particular heavyweight division is kind of like the resurgence, or heavyweight boxing is coming back, because he mentioned how personalities like Wilder, Fury, Joshua, and also including yourself, you guys bring excitement. You guys have unique personalities, characteristics, and you guys have your own unique style. And if you had to label or name a heavyweight era, how would you name this era? As this division is still on the verge of finding out who's the one at that division, as we speak for the.
I mean, we could call it the comeback.
The comeback.
I think you just call it. I call it undecisive. It's undecisive excitement. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. It's the heavyweight division. A lot of exciting fights to make out there. But one thing I tell you, man, very few have the heart and the mental fortitude not only to get to the top, stay at the top. And I know for a fact I'm that guy. So come June 1st, it's going to be the first of many. But I'm looking forward to it. It took 15 long years of hard work to get here, and we're not turning back now.